Good morning, friends. This is time for the trade plan of 28th of July 2020. Now, yesterday, uh, we reached the previous day's low, which is Friday's low, and from there, the Nifty bounced back, which was about 11,070, 11,080 sort of zone. Now, overnight, US markets have closed fairly strongly. This morning, Asia is looking fairly strong. So, let's see what we could have in store for us today. Hmm, let's go. Okay. We need is the Nifty chart. So, let's look at the Nifty chart. On the Nifty, we are in this sideways type of band, which all of you know about. Okay, so let me see if we can do some drawing. So this is your sideways pattern on the Nifty. Downside we know 11,050, 70. Upside we know 11,240 thereabouts. So today what will happen is that we have again three levels, which is previous session high, previous session low, and the uh, previous session low here and the close. So what we try to do is we mark out the close, the low, and the high. Okay. Now SGX right now is about 75 points higher. So we are going to open somewhere in this zone. From here, there are two possibilities. We start to consolidate near previous session highs. We open, gap up, and come off and find support at the pivot and then start to go higher. So these are the two possibilities that we have. Okay. And these are the two possibilities that I plan to work on I buy if we get close to the pivot, which is a bit higher than this, previous day close. If I have to tell you where it is at so the pivot that we have is at the 11,140 sort of zone, so somewhere here. What I expect is that you gap up and you come off and you start to find support on the pivot, or we go up and at 11 220 230 type of zone we make a build up and then we go up. Okay, so this is as far as the Nifty is concerned. Now let's have a look at where the bank Nifty could go. My sense is again the bank Nifty may find support at lower levels, so it may not fall like it did yesterday. Okay, so bank Nifty basically is kind of following some sort of trend. Maybe we are trying to follow this sort of a trend line. But I have been saying throughout, financials are weak, so do not try to buy the financials. Now, what can happen here is that Bank Nifty is likely to follow this range about 21,000 to 23,000. So that this should be your view on the Bank Nifty, that 21,000 is a line in the sand. Now what do we do today? We have our three levels, which is previous day high, yesterday close, and yesterday low, more or less at the same area. So again, we go back to our pivots and see how pivots are dealing with Bank Nifty. Here, the pivot is 22,102. So if you get any sort of move into this sort of zone, which is about 22, 100 thereabouts, 22, 100, 22, 200. Okay, so if you get on a gap up, you get somewhere here. So the Bank Nifty trade would be to try and see a failure on the pivot and then a decline, at best a sideways day. Okay. So whereas we want to get long on the Nifty, Bank Nifty is not a long trade. It may not be as great a short trade like it was yesterday, but overall we could be sideways, and Bank Nifty uh, is likely to stay around this 21,800, 22,200 sort of zone. Now, my view basically is that the market is not doing anything new. What we are doing is what we have done in the past, which is you get into a huddle and break out. Okay? So the same thing is happening right now, and you are likely to move up. Okay? Now, moving up can happen in two ways. Like I told you, pivot, yesterday high, we go up to yesterday high, start moving sideways and keep going higher. Or because of the Bank Nifty, we have one final decline towards the pivot, which is 11,150 broadly. And from there, you start to move back higher. Okay. So in both cases, it's highly likely that the market has an imminent upside breakout. Stay away from financials, NBFCs. If you have to buy, try to do FMCG, IT, and maybe the odd pharma type of stock, but stay away from banking and financials. I have said that even when they were rallying, they were underperformers, and now you've seen how the financials have basically collapsed. So there is no question of buying into any sort of financial stock. Okay, now having said all of this, let's just have a look at what the S&P 500 is looking like post yesterday's rally. Okay, so here after a 2-day decline, the S&P 500 is now beginning to move up. You see the 1 hourly chart, we opened lower and finally you had a last hour type flourish. So broadly, even the S&P 500 is in this sort of a vein. Okay. And we have found support at this 3200 zone, like there was support at this zone. For the moment, nothing wrong with the market, and we just need to play for the breakout. Now, one, trading insight I would like to give you is that a lot of people complain that futures are very, very volatile. I agree, they are volatile, but where are they volatile from? They are volatile from, say you have this sort of a range. Okay? Now futures are volatile. They are volatile if you buy here. If you buy here, where are they not volatile from? If you buy in this zone, this was yesterday low, okay, fine, the market recovered. You waited for this big red bar to get taken out. From here, we came off and you had a buying opportunity somewhere here, okay. In fact, I bought this bar, okay. So I have bought in the lower end of the day. From here, you can see that the futures stayed above this zone. So the problem is not with futures. The problem is if you are not waiting for a level to hold and to show some sort of a build up. This is the build up. Okay. Once this build up started to happen, it was clear that somewhere, you know, there was support here and the market, the volatility could be on the upside. It didn't go up all the way, and finally you got out without too much trouble. Okay, so the problem is not with futures. The problem is that if you don't time it well, futures mean one party is stuck on the other side and the other party wins. Like here, okay, we had this bit of exhaustion. Now you get into a problem if you buy here, okay, or if you sell here. But if you bought here and you know that you have shorts trapped on one side, the volatility will be in your direction. It's very critical that price action, price action plus level gives you a good turning point and risk reward ratio. This same thing can be applied to a weekly, which means a 15-minute chart, can be applied to a monthly, which means a 60-minute chart. But if you want to avoid volatility of futures, make sure that you have this kind of contraction at a key zone, and from there you are on the right side of the breakout. The volatility in that case will benefit you. So that should be it for right now. Take care. trade well, and please consult your financial advisor. What I have not done is given you pivot level. So let me do that also while I'm on this. Nifty support zone is 11,038. All futures levels to about 11,076, and resistance is at 11,152 to about 11,190. Bank Nifty support zone is 21,392 to about 21,618, and resistance is at 22,072 to about 22,298. Take care and trade well.